Howdy everybody, this is Omar, your audio amigo, here today with a hopefully quick buyer's guide for y'all. Basically, here are 10 things I think are worth picking up on HiFiGo's Black Friday sales. So, quick disclaimer, this video is sponsored by HiFiGo. All of the links below this video will go to their store. They are not affiliated, but they go to their store. These are their sales. They are a relatively new supporter of this channel, but I expect to see review units from them from now on. Although they haven't sent me anything yet, I went ahead and activated the paid promotion feature here on YouTube since I want you guys to know this is a sponsored video. Again, I do these disclaimers because I believe in full transparency when there's potential bias besides my own personal tastes at play. Thank you very much to HiFiGo for reaching out and for helping the channel in the future. So let's get started off with IEMs that I think are worth picking up. Right off the bat, I'm going to have two criteria for these. So number one, these have to be something that I own and have a positive opinion on. And number two, all of these have to be priced at or under my good deal price in my buyer's guide videos for 11/11 that I did. So all that considered, I have 4 IEMs here that I'd like to showcase. So first up, we have a bit of a transformer. The Tanchjim One DSP here is kind of a do-it-all budget IEM. The stock tuning, in my opinion, might not be anything special, but with the power of the Tanchjim app, provided you have an Android smartphone, you can unlock 4 more tunings and create your own. That, I would think, is the only real drawback to this set, is for those transforming abilities, you have to use this USB-C cable and the Tanchjim app and have an Android smartphone. But this is on sale at HiFiGo with the coupon code scrolling down here for $18. So it's kind of tempting just to pick one of these up and play with it in the app. You can get this to mimic basically all of the budget single DD IEMs. You can basically pop open the EQ app and turn this into a 02 or a Chu2 or a Warner or an EW100P, a QKZX HBB, heck, even the Rosefinch if you want something bassheadish. You could even turn this into, a single DD version of the Mega 5 EST bass if you really wanted to. Overall, I think this is a really good deal at $18. Nice cable, good build quality, even comes with a carry pouch. Go check that one out. So next up is the first of 3 AFUL IEMs. It's going to turn into a bit of an AFUL power hour here. But this here is the AFUL Magic One. I've talked about this IEM at length in my review and then again in my 11/11 buyer's guide, but everything I said in those videos holds true, here. It's $77 on sale, which is $3 less than my good deal price of $80. I like describing these as, fancy or hexa if you watch the videos, and now you can get these for regular hexa price. And for that, I think these are absolutely fantastic. I love their neutral, clean, resolving sound, their fantastic looks. You get a nice cable, good accessories. I would check these out if you're in the market for something neutral and good looking. These are a good pick. However, if you have a bit more of a bass inclination to yourself and you want something with a warmer, more relaxing tonality, one of my IEM of the year candidates is also on a really good deal. This is the AFUL Explorer, and again, I've said a lot about this one already. This is consistently great, no matter how many different IEMs I go to. When I come back to this, I always find myself appreciating it. The shells are absolutely gorgeous, as you can see here. The cable is really nice. The case it comes with is great. It's better than the one on the Magic One and the Performer 5, honestly. And yeah, the sound on this is just the sort of chef's kiss on top of everything. I really love these. They're relaxing and warm, yet still detailed and highly resolving, in my opinion. HiFiGo has these for $90, which is right on the nose of my sort of good deal price. $90 for these is absolutely awesome. I think these are already a good value at their MSRP of $120, and at $90, yeah, these are a fantastic deal. Finally, closing out my IEM recommendations and sort of the AFUL Power Hour is the AFUL Performer 5. This recently got an update. The AFUL Performer 7 now exists. But that doesn't mean that the 5 isn't a good IEM, especially now at the new lower price of $154 on sale. Like I said, that's just under my good deal price of $160. At that price, I think these are actually an excellent value. The Performer 5 is a fantastic all-rounder set. I described it as neutral-ish, and I think that that's a good way of putting it. This will do basically everything justice in your library in terms of quality of the replay. It's got excellent details, it's got great resolving ability, it looks really nice, it comes with a great accessories package. When it came out at $220, people were saying what good value this was compared to the $300-400 sets at the time. And now the fact that you can get it for $160, I think that's a really good pickup for these sales. So that's going to wrap up my IEM recommendations. Yes, I know there were 3 awfuls in the mix there, but remember, I'm not going to recommend something unless, number 1, I think it's really good, and number 2, it's at or below the good deal price that I set in my buyer's guide. So next up, let's have a look at some IEM accessories. I'm going to start you guys off with some ear tips. I've got a good blend of options here for y'all. I don't have a good deal price for these, but what I did is I checked the HiFiGo sales price and I cross-referenced it with the Amazon historical prices. And as long as they were cheaper, on HiFiGo than they've been on Amazon over the past 120 days, they're on this list. So kicking things off, we've got the Divinus Velvet tips. I got these on Amazon for $17 a set, and they've gone down to $14 for Black Friday. If you haven't tried these tips yet, I recommend spending a bit more on the multi-size pack for these so that you can try them out. They might not line up exactly with the sizes that you're used to for normal tips. But the Divinus Velvet are basically a version of the famous Radius Deep Mount tips. But you can actually buy these in countries besides Japan without having to pay a middleman an arm and a leg to get them. In my experience, these slightly increase treble presence a bit, but overall I would consider these to be a very neutral ear tip. They don't really change the sound of your IEMs too much for better or for worse. The selling point here is the comfort, the fit, how easy they are to clean. They have a rather unique shape compared to other tips. These are not my current mainline tips, but the fact that they're in a case like this means that I do reach for these often, and these are actually my second favorite tip option right now. One thing I will say is some of them have a bit of a mold line on them. Some people complain that that's a bit uncomfortable. I don't find it to be too uncomfortable. Just know that your mileage may vary as far as that mold line goes. I think these are a great pickup for $14 a set. So next up, and sort of an addendum to that last one, the Divinus Widebore tips are also on sale. Those are essentially the normal Divinus Velvet tips, but with a much wider opening at the front. That opening has a pretty big effect on overall sound. It'll cut bass and it will boost treble by a decent amount. Lots of folks in my comments section are mentioning these. I've only ever tried them once. A friend of mine got a pack and he wears small, so I had the mediums and the larges. The effects on the sound were real. I don't have them with me, but I have tried them, and they do cut bass and boost treble. So if there's an IEM that you want to do that to, the Divinus Velvet Widebore are an excellent, high quality, comfy, analog way of sort of adjusting the sound. They're $1 more than the other ones. They're $15 a set for a single set size, which is as low as I've seen them, like I said, according to my price tracking tools. So check those out if that's something that interests you. Next up are the collab between C Audio and Zeos Pantera. These are the much hyped render tips. Named after the summertime render anime, these are hybrids. You get a silicone outside layer with a sort of foam inner layer that theoretically gives you the best of both worlds. The foam, as you can see from some of the bubbles here, isn't bonded to the silicone, so it has an opportunity to compress and adjust to the insertion when it goes in your ear, and then it slowly balloons out, creating a really nice seal. It'll give you the durability of silicone tips, the sound attenuation and seal of foam tips. Zeos likes to say that these will either completely improve your IEMs or completely ruin your IEMs, and in my experience, it's a bit hyperbolic, but it's also kind of true. I actually find these to be either completely neutral, they won't boost or cut any frequencies by a ton, or they'll provide a massive bass boost to your IEMs. It honestly depends on the nozzle size, what the IEM sounds like to begin with. It's kind of just a fun way to experiment with your IEMs and see if these will change the sound in a good or bad way. They're $11 for a 3-size set like this. And yeah, for $11, I think they're a nice, fun way to experiment with IEMs you already own. I dig them. And last but not least on our ear trip journey, we have the famous DUNU S&S tips. Like the renders, I quite dig these. These are great for getting a deep fit on IEMs with short nozzles that maybe it's a bit more difficult to get a deep fit with. You can see from their unique shape, they're more cylindrical than rounded or teardrop shaped. And this unique shape means an absolutely epic seal on some people's ears, and on other people's ears, an absolutely horrible fit. My wife, for example, did not like these at all. I think these are pretty nice. In terms of sound changes, most of the benefits in bass come from the much more secure seal. These don't have the effect of cutting bass, at least on most of the IEMs that I have tried. In my experience, they do increase treble by just a smidge. So like the Divinus Velvets, I would describe these as a mostly neutral sounding ear tip. If you don't vibe with your current ear tips, you have difficulty getting a seal, I would pick up a multi-size pack of these, since these sizes can be a bit awkward compared to other ear tips. But yeah, I think for $10, rolling the dice on some S&S tips could be something special, and you could find a new favorite ear tip. Okay, so we did ear tips, but don't fret, I still have 2 more accessories that I think are worth a buy. This first one's going to be a little bit controversial, but hear me out here. This is the DUNU Lyre Mini Modular Cable. Now, I can only recommend this under 2 conditions. The first one being you don't wear collared shirts and IEMs together at the same time, and secondly, you do most of your listening while sitting down at a desk or table. Even when it isn't on sale, the Lyre Mini here is one of the most affordable modular cables on the market. I got this one for $25 right before CanJam it was on sale, and now it's going to be $23, which is even cheaper, which is great. I think that this is a really good way to pick up a well-built modular cable from a big-name brand for an affordable price. The biggest problem with this cable, and the one that y'all immediately started yelling about as soon as I brought this out, is the microphonics. The nylon sleeving that they put on the 2-pin leads here on the cable is quite microphonic. I will give this cable a full review later, but for now, let me just say, I did use this at CanJam. It was my daily driver cable. And while the microphonics while I was walking around and wearing my collared shirts were really bad, once I sat down, settled down, plugged it into my DAP, it was honestly fine so long as I had music playing. It didn't really mess around with the sound too much. From the factory, it'll come stock with these 2 tips, and I know I've sung the praises of the DUNU Q-Lock Mini tips already, but you basically just put it on there, you screw it on securely, and look how small that connector is compared to some of the other friction fit modular connectors on the market. And if you go on DUNU's website or on AliExpress or on HiFiGo, you can find this USB C DAC adapter for I think $9. There is a DAC chip in there. It is a tiny bit noisy, but again, once you have music playing, you don't really notice it. Yeah, I really like the screwed modular termination. It's much more secure. If you hate modular cable or microphonic cables, I would stay away from this one. But if you're willing to deal with it, and like I said, you do most of your listening sitting down or in a calm, quiet environment, I don't think it's that bad once music is playing, and I think this is actually a really great option if you want to dip your toes into a modular cable system. And finally, as they say, we come to the awful snowy night dongle DAC. And look, I don't have a ton of dongle DACs to compare this to, but what I do know is that this guy will push every single headphone and IEM I know to more than loud enough for my needs. That's the Fostex T60, my Edition XS, my Sennheiser HD6XX, my Dan Clark Audio Aeon X Closed, and all the planar IEMs I own will run quite happily out of this little guy. It doesn't seem to even drain the battery on my devices all that much when in use. It has a really nice sort of snow motif on it. Controls are very simple volume up and down, no big problems. You've got both 3.5 and 4.4 on the bottom there. You can get it with a USB-C or a Lightning on the go cable. Yeah, and the heart of this is dual Cirrus Logic CS43198 DAC chips, which are very, very nice DAC chips. The sound out of this is incredible. I got mine on sale for around $85–90, and right now it's $83. So take that extra $2 that you save, go buy a nice, high quality song download, play it out of this, and enjoy it. But that's gonna do it for me today. Hope this was nice and quick for y'all. I can strongly recommend everything I have, put out here on the table today, except for, maybe the Lyre Mini. That's a bit of a conditional recommendation, but I still think it's good for the price. I know this isn't typical of my style of video, but I still hope that this was helpful for y'all in maybe making some sort of purchasing decision. I wish all of you happy shopping. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate all your support. This has been Omar with Audio Amigo Reviews, and I'll catch y'all next time.